Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Saskatoon's police chief announced in a news conference today that a group of Saskatoon police officers have been suspended with pay following an undisclosed incident last year. Chief Cam McBride told a news conference today that the incident occurred mid-September of 2024 at a house party and resulted in the suspension of 5 officers. McBride said the incident happened while officers were off duty. Following a lengthy investigation by SPS Professional Standards, 3 members of the Saskatoon Police Service have been dismissed as unsuitable for police service under the Police Act. 2 of the members were reinstated. The 3 are constables with 9 and 10 years of service and a special constable with 2 years of service. The 2 others returned to work in April 2025 following an investigation.
The Police Act has provisions for what can and cannot be done, and we do our very best to utilize those provisions in the most responsible and appropriate ways. And so based on what the facts were, the 2 members that were reinstated, it was appropriate to reinstate them.
SPS is conducting an internal review, and the Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team is also investigating. CERT is an independent civilian-led unit that investigates serious incidents involving police officers in Saskatchewan. Police are providing more information regarding a raid in Richmond, Saskatchewan, the village where Romana Dudulo, the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada, has taken residence for more than 2 years.
Officers arrested 17 individuals. 10 were arrested inside the building, 6 were arrested in the RVs, and 1 was arrested outside a residence in Richmound. The buildings were cleared and all individuals were arrested by 6 a.m. The next phase of the investigation is now in its early stages. Investigators are still in the process of searching the building, collecting evidence, and interviewing those arrested. At this time, no charges have been laid.
Police confirmed Dudulo was one of the 17 individuals arrested. Prior to taking up residence in Richmond, the leader was group forced out of Kamsack, Saskatchewan in September of 2023. We'll have more details tonight at 6. Saskatoon's Executive Committee has moved forward a motion to demolish the Marquis Downs Racetrack. The track, located in Prairieland Park, shut down in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and has been unable to reopen since. Prairieland Park representatives shared a plan to turn the space into a gravel parking lot in the interim while they complete a master plan with a long-term solution.
To refurbish it, there would have to be a use for it. Horse racing is not a financially viable business, and so then we need to look at what's beyond.
The motion will be soon put forward for City Council approval. The City of Saskatoon is in the process of removing bike lanes that were on roads since 2015. The city says it's removing bike lanes on 23rd Street East starting today. The lanes were installed as part of a demonstration project intended to last just 2 years. In June, City Council chose to remove the project, but future planning for the 23rd Street bike lanes will happen as part of the 23rd Street Greenway, which will be part of the city centre and district plan. The city says it's focused on offering cycling infrastructure throughout Saskatoon. Well, here's a familiar face we haven't seen in too long, but Laura, you're going to give us a look at the weather. So what do we have?
Well, Jeff has left me with a little bit of a rainy forecast. We saw some scattered showers this afternoon, likely going to continue overnight and then into tomorrow. Some wind. That's really the story tomorrow. Strong winds making things feel cooler, and you can see that system coming through Saskatchewan there, bringing the showers overnight. And then there is some good news. There's some sunshine around the corner, and I'll have your full weather forecast coming up.
Residents in Regina and Moose Jaw are being asked to conserve water as the water treatment plant that serves both cities faces a power outage. According to the city of Moose Jaw, the power outage has resulted in a lower water supply. Work is underway to fix it, but in the meantime, people are asked to reduce their water usage, not fill pools or water grass or wash vehicles. City spray parks in Moose Jaw are also shut off for the season. Regina has similar precautions. A Saskatchewan town and surrounding RM are both out hundreds of thousands of dollars after an apparent fraud. The town of White City and the RM of Edenwold say they lost a total of nearly $700,000 to a sophisticated fraud scheme. In the scam, the fraudster poses as the wastewater authority jointly owned by the two municipalities. Police were notified along with financial institutions when the activity was discovered last month. Both municipalities are cooperating with an RCMP investigation into the incident, which they say is isolated and did not result in any taxpayer or ratepayer information being compromised. White City and the RM are taking steps to prevent similar issues going forward. The provincial government says there's no immediate plan to increase SaskPower rates despite a reduction in net income. SaskPower recently reported a shortfall of $163 million during the first quarter of the fiscal year. The government attributed the decline primarily to the removal of the federal carbon tax from consumer bills. The NDP expects it could lead to higher power rates in the future.
When we see, again, SaskPower in a position of historic loss, I have not been able to find anyone anywhere in the province who's seen the Crown lose quite so much money quite so quickly. There's really only one way for them to raise revenues, and that's to ask families, farms, and industry to foot the bill.
The government says power generation costs are increasing, but currently there's not a plan to apply for a rate increase. Back to school time, Jasmine Pelche has some safety tips to keep in mind for the kids. The first week of September means back to school, which is an exciting time for kids and their parents too. But in order to enjoy it, you have to be safe. So Jasmine Pelche learned some safety tips from Parkland Ambulance.
Back to school this month, so we're going to find out a little bit more about safety tips. What are some of the #1 things people need to watch out for in September, given it's back to school?
Well, here in the city of Prince Albert, reminder that our school zones are in effect. Unlike maybe some other communities, Prince Albert school zones are only effective from September 1 to June the 30th. So that's #1. Watch the posted speed limit in the school zone that you are. #2, we've got school buses all over the city, and not only in the city, but certainly in the rural areas as well, that are out and about moving thousands of kids every single day. So in the city, please watch for the school bus, because it's going to always stop on the side where the kids are, so they don't have to dart across the street. But this morning, as we were talking off camera, I noticed 2 little kids, obviously late for the bus, you know, first day back sort of thing, and they just darted across the street. So as everybody gets used to being back to school, first you and I as motorists, secondly as parents, and certainly as kids, watch. So slow down in residential areas or around schools. Moms or dads, when you're dropping off your kids, try to drop them off on the school side so they don't have to cross the street. And again, we've got school patrollers and all those crosswalk signals that we need to get used to using again, because it is back to school time.
Is there anything that you see more of in September that's back to school related in terms of accidents?
Well, not specifically in terms of incidents. It's just a matter of getting the public used to kids crossing, especially, you know, that 8:30, 8:45 as the schools are getting ready to go. It is organized confusion around many of our schools as moms and dads, school buses, and everybody are dropping everything off. So, you know, you gotta, if you're in those areas, just be mindful, slow down. Give yourself that little extra time to get to work. If you are in a residential area and you have to go through the school zone, give yourself that little extra time to get to and from your day-to-day as well. And that all repeats itself at the end of the day, that 3:15, 3:30 sort of time frame when everybody goes home after school.
Is it like extra concerning that the kids are so tiny? Is there an issue with people seeing them trying to cross the street from, you know, maybe bigger vehicles?
Well, yeah, that's a good point, Jasmine. And what we want to tell the moms and dads to tell your kids, as you're crossing a crosswalk, if it's a marked crosswalk and school patrollers, you have a little extra element of safety there. But if you're just crossing the street or just trying to get to, say, mom or dad across the street, take your time as children, look both ways, and we encourage the kids, and moms and dads can tell their kids to do this, especially those big trucks, your SUVs, look the driver right in the eye. That way he or she sees you there, because gosh, you know it as well as I do. You get a 4-foot little munchkin trying to cross the street in front of a big SUV, and they're not going to see them. So take your time, no running, no pushing, no shoving, all those wonderful things. And with school buses in the rural area, our school buses out in the rural areas are going to use their red flashing lights and stop arms. That means you must stop both ways, coming and going. Let the school bus safely unload his or her children and get on to the next stop.
Are there any other safety concerns that come up around this time of year now that we're switching from summer into fall that might not be school related or crosswalk related?
Well, it's that time of year when we also get started with lots of sports. So we've got back to school, whether we're playing football as an older person or we're back in volleyball, basketball, all of those after school activities as well. And those sporting activities start up, so we want to make sure that children are wearing the gear, appropriately following the instructions from parents and coaches and teachers alike, and just being mindful of those things. You know, we've got still plenty of great weather where we're going to see lots of bikes out as kids are getting to school. And we want to remind kids as well, through your moms and dads, if you run into trouble, there's always strength in numbers. So travel with a friend, an older brother, sister. If you're walking, pedaling to and from school, gives you that little extra protection if somebody is out there, you know, to cause some harm that we don't want them to be involved with.
Thanks for telling us how to stay safe this year, specifically for families who have kids in school. Thank you, Lyle.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Laura's got your weather forecast coming right after the break, and later, new hope for ovarian cancer patients where surgery or chemotherapy was once ineffective. So Laura, depending on what time you started your day is probably going to determine how many layers you throw into the backpack or into the work bag, right? This time of year, it's cool in the daytime or cool in the morning and better in the day.
That's right. It's kind of that September shift where depending what time of day you're outside, depends, yeah, exactly right, how many layers you're going to need. And it kind of depends on the day of the week, it looks like, too. This early start to the week, a little cooler and things starting to warm up as we head into the weekend. If you're outside, parts of the day saw some scattered showers, and it looks like it'll continue overnight as you see that system coming through, hitting Prince Albert. So we might see a little bit more of it overnight and then perhaps into tomorrow. But the big issue is going to be that wind tomorrow. We're really going to feel it. There's another look at that system coming through, bringing a little bit of rain with it. Your forecast tonight, well, if you're in Candle Lake, Nipawin, Melfort, Birch Hills, and Rostern, it's going to be cloudy skies. I know you can't see those cloudy skies, but I'm telling you, it will be cloudy. North Battleford, 10 degrees, double digits, and Spirit Wood at 9, also cloudy skies. And into tomorrow, there's the rain I was talking about, and those wind speeds starting to pick up. We are seeing some double digits for now, though, so some good news there. 9 degrees, chance of showers, winds picking up again. And then tomorrow, sun and cloud. There's about a 30% chance of rain tomorrow, so still early days, but we're keeping our eyes on that. High of 12, low of 5, and then check out Friday. If you have plants outside, this is your warning now to bring them inside because we're expecting some frost as we hit -1. It was at 0 just a couple hours ago, so things are changing for Friday's forecast, but looks like this will be the coolest part of our week. And as we head into the weekend, things really starting to warm up on Sunday and then into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Pretty nice out there, above seasonal. High of 25, low of 7 on Monday, looking like the nicest day of the week. So overall, pretty nice as we get through this Thursday and Friday.
And you said taking the plants inside, but if you have plans outside, take those inside, I think, on Friday as well. -1 I was not expecting to see. That's for sure. Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders the rushing attack, was a big reason for the Labor Day win over the Bombers, and it's been a recipe of success for their offense this season. AJ Ouellette is averaging nearly 15 carries in 11 games this season, but in the last few games, Mario Anderson has been inserted into the backfield and exploded for 2 key touchdowns in the Labor Day Classic. The two backs bring 2 different skill sets to the Riders' offense.
We just talked about it today. You know, every runner's a little bit different, right? So we call him more of a little jitterbug out there, being able to jump cut, you know, a little bit quicker. But yeah, we both are physical inside the tackles. So I'd like to say we're pretty similar, but we have some differences as well.
Olette says a good rushing attack will be key in the Riders' next matchup when they head to Winnipeg Saturday for the Banjo Bowl. The Saskatoon Hilltops and Regina Thunder will face off this weekend in Regina. Both teams always put on a show in front of fans, and we found rare footage of a classic matchup from more than 15 years ago. Matt Young has this week's Classic Sports Moments.
The Saskatoon Hilltops and Regina Thunder have played in some classic matchups, and we found some rare footage of this one back in 2009. This game was played at the old Mosaic Stadium in Regina, and it was a nail-biter. The Hilltops struck first with a touchdown pass from Jordan Penner to Braden Klamosko to make it 7-0. But the Thunder would come right back with a major of their own when Reed Quest hit Jeff Bolin over the middle, and he does the rest, getting into the end zone. Later in the game, with the Hilltops leading 22-14, Quest found Bolin again, much like the first touchdown, but the Regina Thunder would fail on the two-point conversion, so the Hilltops still led by 2. Late in the game, facing a 3rd and 2, the Thunder elect to put the chips down and go for it, and it pays off. Reed Quest would pass it to Colton Solomon, who muscles his way just past the goal line, and Regina was up 26-23. Last chance for the Hilltops. They put up a Hail Mary, but it's intercepted, sealing the game for Regina. Another classic matchup between two junior football programs, which always seem to battle it down to the final seconds.
And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and Wood Finish televisions, you can check them out on our website.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
This September, foundations across Saskatchewan are raising awareness about prostate cancer and how common it is in men. The Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan says 1 in 8 men in Canada will face a diagnosis in their lifetime, but in Saskatchewan, the probability is higher, 1 in 6 or even 1 in 7 men. Men can reduce the risk through early screenings, as prostate-specific antigen tests are free and accessible to all in Saskatchewan. One advocate, James Froh, says there was limited awareness about the disease when he was diagnosed in 2011 and encourages other people to keep the conversation going.
I had to go find that information, and it felt very hard to do it alone until I found the support group in Regina, which was like an oasis in a desert. It was great to find men that had been there and were able to help me in my journey.
To show your support, you can wear a ribbon, light up the home or a business in blue all throughout September. For people living with ovarian cancer, sometimes surgery or chemotherapy is ineffective. But as Pauline Chan tells us, there's new hope for patients.
Liz Reichert was diagnosed with ovarian cancer after a medical episode while on vacation in Paris in 2019.
No other symptoms, except as I was sitting on that bus, I felt like, oh my God, I feel like I'm getting a giant period.
It was stage 3B, with stage 4 being the most advanced form.
It meant that the cancer had already spread from my pelvic area into my peritoneum, which is the kind of sac that holds all your organs in your belly.
Ovarian cancer is typically quite advanced when it's finally detected. Reichert had surgery followed by platinum-based chemotherapy and has been doing very well for the past 6 years. But for most ovarian cancer patients, there comes a time when those platinum-based chemos no longer work. That's why the approval of a new drug called Elahere is so significant.
Mirvetuximab is the generic name. So it's approved for women with what we call platinum-resistant ovarian cancer.
Dr. Alan Covens says Elahere acts on the folate receptors on the cell membranes.
A majority of ovarian cancer cells, like 75%, will express folate receptor positivity on the cell membranes. So the majority of patients would be eligible to benefit from this drug. Not everybody, but the majority.
Reichert is living a good life now, but always aware of the chance of her cancer returning, and knowing new medications are becoming available keeps her full of hope. Elahere is expected to become available in Canada next year. In the meantime, patients should talk to their doctor about treatment options. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Laura, well, Saturday Night Live's 51st season is getting ready, and they're adding some Canadian talent this year.
Oh, my God.
Veronica Slojkowska from Barrie, Ontario is one of 5 new members for the show. She appeared in different shows like Tires with Shane Gillis there. Here's a fun fact, Laura. Her castmate, Shane Gillis, was hired, then fired from SNL, and then he got so famous they had to bring him back to host. So Veronica will start on October 4th, and hopefully we'll see her doing the opening monologue in just a few years, or maybe shorter. But I got to ask you, and maybe I'm putting you on the spot. I don't know if you have like a favorite host or anything along those lines of SNL, or?
Yes, I do. I do have a favorite host. Of course, the Taylor Swift. She's hosted, right?
There you go. I'm sure she has once or twice, and I guess that probably figures. I forgot that you're usually busy doing stuff on Saturday nights, so you're not watching TV.
All right, John, who's your favorite?
There you go. My favorite, by far, without a doubt, Shane Gillis.
Oh, yeah? Okay. There you go. I did watch there was a big anniversary for Saturday Night Live. Isn't that right?
There was, and I think if I'm remembering the one correctly, they had Larry David up there.
Yes, yes.
So they're talking about, hey, are you going to come to the show or the party, the after party after? And he just, nah.
Nah.
Right just in character, like Larry David is in the show. So there you go. That's a pretty good little start to your career, or I guess for Veronica, she's been around the industry for some time. So there you go.
There you go.
Now I know what I'm going to be doing October 4th.
There you go. Cheering her on.
Yep.
From Barrie, Ontario.
Absolutely.